Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
OMG, do we have a treat for you today, people? I'm telling you right now. Here's the question, right, that you all have to be asking yourself as we enter the new year, and is, what does it take to be the most referred professional in your community? What does it take to be the most referred realtor in your city? What does it take to be the most referred CPA in your community? What does it take to be the most referred landscaper in your city? What does it take, right? And we're going to answer that today. I'm very excited about that because who we have here today is the most preferred lender in the world. I'm going to say in the world because I'm not sure how often they track that in other countries. But if you're the most preferred lender in America, you're probably the most preferred lender in the world. So I have to tell you that he has been on before. You've heard him speak on subjects such as his movie events and how to get 333 referrals in one day. And we are so honored to have him on here again. His name is Scott Edwards out of Santa Clarita, California. His website is mortgagedoc.us. He is the mortgage doc. He is the doctor. He is the physician. You know, he's got a pharmacy behind him, which is a bunch of loan products. He talks with you. He meets with you. He gets you the magic mortgage pill so that you can close on time and make it happen. Here today is the mortgage doc himself, Mr. Scott Edwards. Welcome.
Thank you. I am honored. I love the introduction. I feel like I should be running up on Prices Right, you know.
Let's go. Oh, man. But, you know, no wonder you're so damn happy with all these referrals and having a great year when, you know, others had a somewhat of a suffering year, you know. And I think if you had to, so I want to start with like 7L a little bit and just start with the beginning. And full disclosure, Scott is a personal business coaching client of mine. And but I want you to know that he still was successful in spite of that. So even though I was his coach, he still ended up with over 800 documented referrals. So how did you first get introduced to 7L and the 7 levels of communication, the referral mastery system?
Yeah, so it's an interesting story. So I'm a big fan of Todd Duncan, and Todd Duncan a long time ago he still does. It's like the Sales Academy, High Trust Sales Academy, and we were at a hotel, and he happened to one of the breaks see you walking around the hotel, and was like, "Oh, we've got a treat for you. Michael Maher is going to speak." I'm like, "Who's this Michael Maher guy?" This was probably 2013, 2012, and you walked in and you talked about the housewarming idea, and blew my mind. I mean, I was just so amazed at that idea and how simple it was and how personal and relationship that I just, ever since then, I've been following you. I read your book. I have done everything to go to any event that you've done. I have just been a big fan ever since. So,
well, thank you for that. I appreciate that. And yeah, the housewarming party idea, that, I mean, you know, talk about one of the original events in my portfolio, so to speak.
Right.
I loved it. And what a perfect opportunity for a realtor and a mortgage professional to partner because you're both going to win. And, you know, it's just like, and also at that time, you know, there were some mortgage professionals, and this is then, right? Things have changed, but they were paying realtors essentially. Right. But RESPA was all over the place. And it was just like, I mean, it was like, that was not going to last. We knew it wasn't going to, I never took money from a lender directly. I will tell you that. But what could we do? We could throw events for the clients together and share the costs and have a big party. And, you know, I still to this day say the referral mastery system is the most RESPA compliant system you can do in real estate. I truly believe that. It makes more sense. We're not doing client appreciation events. We're doing friends and family events. We're doing things that aren't business related, but we all know that by giving our family and friends and the people that we know great value, they want to give back to us. And you know what? A lot of times they give referrals, as you've discovered. So let's kind of fast forward to 2022.
Sure.
So give me a snapshot of that year for you from the aspect of referrals? What did you do for referrals?
Right.
How many did you get? And just kind of give me the flow. And by the way, that was, we coached 6 months, 2021,
Right.
and then the whole year of 2020. So 18 months or so of coaching, right?
Correct.
So kind of go through 2022, if you will, and give me a chronological,
Absolutely.
how you became the most referred lender in America.
Yeah, I mean, COVID was an interesting animal for us. It really slowed down my ability to be able to do like real in-person events, and being in LA, right? So finally in 2022, we were able to actually get back out there, get the community back out. And movie events, I love movie events. They're simple. People love going to movies. They're family oriented. The movie does a lot of the marketing for you. I mean, it was just a simple idea that we could implement very easily. And so we committed to doing movies. And so we did Top Gun, we did Wakanda, and then we did Doctor Strange. And we did 3 movies and then a Santa event last year.
Wait.
Oh, yeah.
The very first, I remember you coming kicking and streaming to this movie, and I told you to do it, and you were so hesitant, and yet it makes the most sense. You did Doctor Strange first.
I know.
Mortgage doc. I mean, that's a strange doctor in a sense anyway. So doing Doctor Strange really, I was like, dude, this is made for you, so let's break it out, in 2022 in a live event in a big way. So
absolutely. It was the first movie we did. Then we went to Top Gun, and we just kept rolling with the movies. It was just great. So, how we did it was, do we want to get into some of my highlights of about the movie events, or what exactly you want me to touch on?
Yeah. So I think, first of all, let's start chronologically, right? So you went and you did Doctor Strange, and I think the first thing with that is we were both like, all right, let's try it and see if anybody shows up.
Correct.
Right. I mean, we didn't know. It's post-COVID. People are maybe finally coming out of their shell. I said earlier last year that I saw a trend that people were like going from caged and enraged.
Right.
You saw it on social media, right?
Right.
to uncaged, free and engaged. They were starting to engage with each other again. So we started to see that trend, but this was really early in that trend. So, what went into doing the Doctor Strange movie? What was the response? And then maybe what you did right and what you did wrong, or what you did better, or just kind of, insights from what you got from Doctor Strange, because Doctor Strange was for everybody, right?
That's correct.
All Yap event.
All Yap, exactly. So so Doctor Strange, we hit the ground running pretty hard with that. We got the movie theater rented. We did the biggest movie theater for a couple reasons. One was it was COVID, and we wanted to, depending on how many people, we wanted to have space for people, right? So they didn't have to sit right next to each other. So we made that decision. But I think the big wins that I always find with the movie theater event was the golden ticket, the MC, and the DJ. Were the two things that I preach that if there's any event you do, you have to have a golden ticket and you have to have an MC and a DJ. They changed the entire, the MC and the DJ changed the entire room. I think the first. So let's
unpack that. Right. So we've literally used 3 terms that, we have a lot of new listeners. I mean, we've been looking at the analysis from the first 2, which were the highlights of 2022, and we did the best of. And we have a lot of new subscribers and listeners this year, which is exciting, and word's getting out. 25,000 downloads a month, and it's mind-boggling to be quite. We're a referrals podcast. We're not marketing, whatever. We're not business, whatever. We're not church, whatever. We're not, cuss word, whatever. Right. We're a referrals podcast. What a niche of a niche, but we need to make sure that we keep everybody in the language. And the first one I want to define is all Yap versus Top Yap. And
yes,
for people that are newer to the referral mastery system and event mastery, is we have something called a Top Yap, and the Yap is yearly ambassador program. Keeping your ambassadors, your raving fans, your super fans, keeping them raving about you throughout the year. And you need a yearly ambassador program for your top people to keep your top people. That is the top YAP, which is a series of events for your top people.
Yep.
Then we have the all YAP, and the YAP acronym in this case is yearly appreciation plan. So this is your yearly appreciation plan for everyone you know and everyone who knows you. And you're going to invite everyone to these events, but they're not all going to attend. They either because you don't have room or because they can't make it or they're not interested in it. But the thing is, you're going to invite everyone.
Absolutely.
So that's the all YAP. And just so everybody knows, Scott used Dr. Strange as an all YAP event. And then he used the Top Gun event as kind of more of a Top Gun or as a top YAP for first responders in his. So he only really invited first responders and that kind of thing to Top Gun, which I mean, brilliant, right? So I need you to define how you used the golden ticket strategy from our event mastery class, right? So the golden ticket strategy.
Yeah, so the golden ticket strategy was the having a golden ticket and giving with the purpose of being able to meet everybody that comes to my events, at least for a few seconds, few minutes, right? Just to get connected, to find out how they found out about the event, who are they, some of my past clients. So we used it as one item at the concession stand. And you would have thought I was a little nervous of like, okay, one item, 200 people, this could get costly. And surprisingly, the first event was only $300. It was like $330 is all it was. And I mean, it's not a small amount, but I mean, I was thinking much more expensive for 200 people that I was handing out golden tickets to. So, so that was a great opportunity for me to really get to know and see some of my clients who honestly, I only saw via Zoom. Every client of mine I see via Zoom at least for an hour. But, you know, time passes and some of these clients I haven't seen in years. So that was a really cool thing. It was cool to see and give hugs, you know, something I love doing. Yeah. That you couldn't do. So anyway.
Thank God we're back to that. I mean,
I agree.
And in the original 12, 15 years ago, when I was doing event mastery and teaching it, I was a horrible teacher. And I mean, I wasn't horrible, but I cared, but I wasn't like, I just spewed it out there without really a secret. But I used to call that the golden hug ticket because that's what it would lead to, right? Is these hugs and kind of, you know, over the years, it just became the golden ticket, you know, Willy Wonka style. And so I got to ask, so when they came to register, right? I want to talk about flow a little bit with this one.
Sure. Absolutely.
Is they came to register, they came to the table. You had door prizes, of course, because you're running our system, and you who registered them?
Yeah, so this was a flow thing that we learned at this event. So what we changed for the following event. So this one was about keeping them together, right? Compacted. So we had a line that started outside the doors. And so that line starts almost an hour ahead because we inform everybody it's first come, first serve, get early. And so what they do is while outside, I have QR codes set up for the survey, the door prize entry form, right? I have QR codes pasted all down the line that they would be standing in. So they could do that while they're waiting, right? So we can get that survey done. And then once they got the survey done, right, while they were standing outside, right, they got a ticket for the giveaway, right? And then I got confirmation that they did the door prize entry form. And then this is where we let them in around about an hour before the movie starts. And when we let them in, that's when the golden ticket, right? That's when I got to meet everybody, give them a golden ticket. And then we would let them. So this is where we did something a little different. We let them right into the room, right? So instead of holding them out, which we learned after this event was a much better approach because you continue to collect that energy, right? People are still connected and they're like, oh, how do you know Scott? Oh, you know Scott from here. And I'm walking around and instead of them all being in the theater, which I can't really get to the people in the middle row. Right? I can't say hello and hugs and those kind of things. So that was something we changed and we learned that was better moving forward because of that energy that comes from it. So,
yeah. I mean, that's the genius of this, right? And, you know, we haven't talked about this much on Referrals Podcast. We talk about it all the time in our event mastery class, but it's triangulating your attractions, right? And attractions are the flow. Where are they going to go? And try to anticipate and then don't go from anticipate, but actually guide the flow, right? Guide their flow. So they come in through the doors, they register,
Yep.
and then for the golden ticket, you don't want to be right next to the registration table, because then you got a line of a line and who's in line, right? So you go all the way across the lobby, and you're standing there and you're there. And then they go all the way back across the lobby to go to the concession stand, right?
Yep.
And then they go from the concession stand to the movie theater.
Yep.
And those are your attractions, right? But what you do when you do that is you've got this flow. There's always that center point of the movie theater for the center of your energy, but you've got that flow kind of going from one to another. And there's always people moving in from one to another, right?
Agreed.
And so, and you hit a key with, I call it the wait is great. A wait is great. Make them wait.
Absolutely.
Don't kill them with it. But a wait is great. And a wait, having a line outside the theater owner had to be thrilled. You had to be thrilled. And the people in line were thrilled. Why? Because like, if there's a wait, it's worth the wait, right? Value. Right. Worth, the word worth equals value. A wait is great. You don't want to kill them with it, but have a wait, like we did at RMS, right? We shut the doors and then we let everybody in. It's like, right.
Exactly.
So, so the other thing is keeping them together, right? Keeping them together, keeping them all in your part of the island, so to speak. And I love that. I love the 1 hour before you had them register, you got them to you. You thought the concession bill would be a lot higher, ended up $330.
Yep.
You did. You had an MC and a DJ who was rocking it up. Once again, you got a DJ thumping music in the theater,
exactly,
and they're outside the doors.
Exactly. I was just
gonna say my God, like they're like it. You've done it right when they're getting a little bit upset about not being able to go in. They're not like, but you can just tell. They're like, let's go, right?
I do it.
They come
so I did it like just a few minutes before, right? Just so they could hear that big. And, my MC brings in these massive, speakers in. So, I mean, you could hear it thumping in the room, and he's got music bumping. And then like, just as it's starting to really get going, I open the doors, right? And I've got a video guy in there.
I can see this.
Oh my God. And they've just got MCs getting everybody bumping. And, he's just, it is, the room is so exciting. It's like, it is a party, right? I mean, it's like, it's one thing to come to a movie, right? But when you come to an experience, you never forget it. And that's what I think is the difference maker than just going to a movie. It's that whole extra experience that they get before the movie starts.
Yeah.
And the energy. Absolutely. The energy. Go ahead.
What do people want? They want energy. They want energy. You're delivering energy. What is of the most value? What is the most value is energy. Provide energy to your database, right? Provide value it's not ketchup and mustard. It's not, Easter chocolate bunnies on Easter. It's not. It's this experience. I mean, you're making their lives better, even if it's just for a few hours, right? But it's also memorable, and it becomes a talk about, which they talk about at work and everywhere else they go. And they post it all over social media. So love, notes that I took is party atmosphere. Gotta have music. Music is part of the experience. Always one of the things that we talk about in Event Mastery that people are always like, oh, I never thought about was music, right? What is the music? You're like, well, no, I'm doing it at a Starbucks. Listen, what is Starbucks playing? Can they turn up the music? Can they play by the way, they have a soundtrack too. They have a playlist. They can change it up. So if you're doing it, is always one thing that I always did when I speak at offices. When I go into an office, a lot of times there's no music. I brought my own speakers, and I would have music playing before the event. And then it kind of gave it, and it was different. It was music. Music has an energy to it. Use it as much as you can. I think the other thing too is how far do you want to go with this? I mean, Mortgage Doc you could easily have like a walk-up song without saying that it's your walk-up song, right? I mean, what Dr. Feelgood, right? I mean, I don't know what that sounds like, but Dr. Feelgood really kind of came. Scott, I just thought of that literally. I know that you pay me millions of dollars to coach you every year, and that was worth it right there. But It's one of the, I mean, like, what is that? Okay, I gotta check. I'm sorry. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. I gotta do it. What does it's gotta have a rockin' upbeat. I'm sorry, listeners. You're gonna have this is very ad hoc. We did not rehearse.
I love it. I love it.
Actually, we didn't reverse any of this, but
Let's
I
see.
got I got it. It's actually in my
Dr. Feelgood.
all right, hold on a second. Dude. All right, let's see if I can play this. I can't play it. Okay. Oh, it's dun 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 dun. Oh, and then it's wee with the girl. Oh, it's just like let me see if I can actually play. This is going to be so bad quality. All right, so we're going to iPhone. All right. Here's the start of it, and I just know that the sound is going to be off.
I don't think we hear anything.
You can't.
No.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's too bad. That's too bad.
But here's what I encourage everybody is I encourage everybody to listen to Dr. Feelgood after
I'm gonna have to listen to
this. And it's perfect. I mean, so what it is, you don't even have to say anything, right? But you start playing the song. That's when you go up to start doing the door prizes, your announcements, and everything else. I mean,
I love it.
Dr. Feelgood. Doesn't get any better than that. You got to. I think there are some pretty raunchy lines in it, but you can just use the walk up part at the first.
Well, that's what the DJ is for. That's what the MC is for. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome.
Very cool. All right.
Let's so how many referrals? How was that event? Right. I mean, this is the first one out of the chute. So
yeah. So I have that one right here.
Maher, you said it. If I get a referral, it was worth it.
Absolutely. And it wasn't just that if I get a referral, right? It's who, I learned this from my wife, interesting enough. My wife is a master when it comes to like being able to find somebody to refer. So everyone comes to my wife, and I asked her to like post something on Facebook because she will have 20 people that she knows that she could refer out to somebody. So I learned this from her, and I've implemented it into what we do, which is, so I can tell you for Dr. Strange, we generated 174 referrals, 174, and 13 for realtors, 14 for me, 16 for credit repair, financial advisor was 22, estate attorney was 15, insurance agent was 22, photographer 15, DJ and MC 15. I mean,
15 referrals for the DJ.
Yep. And that was before
That's how you get a DJ for life.
Absolutely. That was before they walked in and knew him. So,
all right. I mean, this is crazy, Scott. I mean, because here's the problem that I have in my head right now. I wanted this to be like our typical 30 to 45 minute episode, right?
Right.
We're on number 1 and we're like 30 minutes in. and the thing is, like, there's so much to unpack with what you just shared. You're telling me that you had like 8 sponsors for your very first event. And the listeners have to be going, well, how did you get 8 sponsors for your first event? And one of the first ones that has to just like go as a huge like light bulb in people's head is he had the DJ. Well, if I know Scott and I know business, I'm having the DJ for free in exchange for referrals. And in this case, you got the DJ 15 referrals.
Yep.
Well, that DJ is going to be working on your leads and on your referrals the entire year. That's a great year for a DJ is 15 gigs. So, I mean, there's only 52 weekends, right? So it's just, that's a great thing. And so I guess give us the numbers on that. Did you net positive, on an event? You can throw it and pay for it. Right. You can throw it and have it be zero based, or you can throw it and make it a profit center. The first event, which one was it of those?
Yeah, I mean, so we had the sponsors were able to help cover a portion of it, about half, at least for the first one. Because I think one of the things I struggled with early on is I'm not good with asking for money. Right? So I'm just not. And I also wanted to have proof in the pudding, right? Be able to say, hey, here's a value add, right? So here's what it looks like, right? So That's what I was able to do afterwards, right? And progressively as the things went on, right? So, I now know I gave 69 referrals to my DJ and my MC last year.
69 referrals for the DJ in 2022.
Yep.
Does he love you?
I think so.
Is he going to do the rest of your events for free?
He is, yes.
And here's the thing. You think it's for free, right? It's not. The system is
Correct.
generating business for him. You are a lead generator.
Yep.
You know how many people aren't lead generators? What is the number one problem of every business? It's leads and referrals.
Correct.
Right? And I think it's referrals, but it's leads in general. Referrals being a subset of lead generation.
Yep.
So, I mean, 69 for the DJ, that's a no-brainer for him to partner with you for the rest of your events. But you also had 7 others who partnered with you, and you ended up, now long story short, did the rest of the events, the 3 movies that you did, were they profit center, zero based, or expenses?
Yeah, so zero based.
Yeah,
zero based. Yeah,
yeah. So on the year, you actually paid zero.
Yeah,
and still generated over 800 referrals.
Yep.
I mean, do we just shut the show down at this point?
I mean, just drop the mic. Yeah.
I mean, how much more do you have to hear, Referrals Podcast viewers and listeners? Go to YouTube and subscribe right now. I mean, it's like,
I agree.
It's one of those where, what else do you need to hear? We're not going to harp on it all of 23 again, and you not do it, listener, viewer. Like, I'm tired of that. Aren't you tired of that? Like, get up, let's go. Check it out. All right.
I just wanted to say something real quick on that. So is that it's been fun, right? Like, I've had a great time doing this,
that, right? Won't work, Scott. Funprospecting.com doesn't work. You can't do funprospecting.com. You cannot go to funprospecting.com. You cannot have funprospecting.com. I mean, it's like, here's what's so funny about what Scott just said is, like, this is fun. Like, I mean, I had fun. That's why, like, Gary Keller, I was always like, well, I don't really do lead generation. He goes, you do lead generation, you just love it. Right. It's like, no, I don't love lead generation. Right. I don't. And it's like, no, but he's like, no, you're having fun lead generating. Well, I just put it together earlier, like late in 2022, that, like, what we do is fun prospecting. So I go, you know what? I'm going to go get funprospecting.com. You would think, like, maybe that's been taken out of all. How many domains have been taken in the world? Like, kabillions, right? Funprospecting.com. Hey, you can get it for 1 cent right now.
Wow.
I bought funprospecting.com for 1 penny because nobody's thought of having fun prospecting before. We're the only ones, Scott. I mean, how is that even possible? But the old age, it's got to be tough. You got to, kill your drunk monkey. You got to, overcome all your limiting beliefs and insides. And it's just like, no, let's just like help people have a better life. Right. Let's have fun. Right. And have a system behind it that generates leads for me and everybody else. And I'm telling you, I hate to do this. We're going to have to, I mean, like, I want to stay true to this episode could go 9 hours. I mean, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to run down the last 3 events. Just give me one tip from each, one thing you learned. And then I want to wrap it up to what is your words of wisdom for someone who wants to become the most referred professional in their city, right? In their community, in their area, in their family, maybe, So, all right. So you did Top Gun for the first responders as a top yep. So give us a rundown of that one real quick.
Yeah. I mean, I think the big thing we changed there was the flow, right? We changed up the flow a little bit more. So we had them bunch up before they got into the movie theater, right? That was something we didn't know or we didn't do in Doctor Strange. So that was great. Plus, we had a different circle. We put it out to veterans and veteran organizations, VFWs, and all that kind of stuff. So we put it out to veterans so it was a different crowd. It was. So that was interesting, right? Top Gun was more the adult right? Than more so like Doctor Strange and Wakanda, which is family. So that would be the one thing I think we learned on Top Gun. Wakanda, I would say on that one was interesting is we didn't know the attendance wise. And so we just blasted it out to everybody. I've got like 20,000 emails. Most of them, I don't have any idea who they are. Just at some point we had their email. And so I blasted it out to everybody. And when I was walking around doing the golden ticket, I was asking people like, how'd you hear about the event? And they go, oh, a friend of mine emailed me your link and I registered and I don't know who you are, but this is awesome. And I'm thinking like, this is the greatest thing ever, right? Like that I had somebody else come that I've never met and they just had an incredible time. They walked out and was like, oh, we're so thankful for what you did.
But here's the thing.
Go ahead.
It was a friend who forwarded them the link. Like that's what we wanted to talk about. I mean, how many people get a market report from an agent and forward it to their friends? Like the answer is none, right? How many get recipes in their email from an agent and forward it to their friends? Like none, right? And it's like, this is forwardable. It has value. So I love that. And, so how'd you do referral wise at Wakanda?
So Wakanda, we did 321 referrals from Wakanda.
All right. So this is right. What if there was a system? I keep blowing my own horn here a little bit, and you bring it out of me. I mean, it's just like, what if there was a system that actually had strangers referring us their friends and family members,
right? And
you have it. Like a lot of these were strangers, Scott, and you got 321 referrals. You were the hub of your community. How active is the 4 weeks after your event when you have 321 people to communicate with?
It's pretty insane.
Yeah,
it's pretty insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I think for the fact that we do SurveyMonkey, because that does help keep that a lot organized. So I can't encourage SurveyMonkey to use or Google Sheets of some sort. But yeah, I mean, and what we added in a few more events was like I had my custom tailor, right? He was a sponsor. I had a car mechanic, my golf instructor, right? And so they got my custom tailor got 25 referrals.
Oh, come on.
My golf instructor got 17. My car mechanic got 31. So, and I think the reason we have the results we have, and I think this is the one big takeaway, is the questions. Right? It's not, hey, do you want me to connect you with a car mechanic? Right?
That's right.
It's,
That's right.
Could you use a recommendation to a trustworthy car mechanic?
There you go. Yep.
It's hitting on some pain points. So it's the questions that really invoke a response, because I'm trying to add a pain point or some emotional connection to why they should say yes.
That's right. The questions on the survey and the door prize entry form and the Google Doc, it's an art form almost, right? And probably a future episode of Referrals Podcast on how to construct that. I would say we did a really good job at RMS, and that might be a sheet to use. We generated almost 1,000 referrals in total at one event for our vendors and ourselves. And it's like how, I think you're right. It's all in how you ask the question in a way that opens the door at least a little bit. So, and that's all you want, right? That's all exactly your car mechanic wants is a chance.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
So I love it. Okay. So you did Wakanda, and then did you do another one after that?
We did. We jumped right into our ticket to the North Pole. We did a Santa event. So pictures with Santa.
All right.
And we wanted to switch things up a little bit to see what that looks like. And we had an incredible response from that one. It was a new event we did, but we took the model we've created with the movie event and just implemented it with this and just added a few other things. And we did snow. I mean, if you're going to do a Santa event, have snow. I can't tell you how incredible snow is, and having a sled. I mean, the kids just love it. That was the highlight,
especially in California.
Yeah, I know.
Santa Clarita probably doesn't get a lot of snow.
We don't.
Here's the only thing you could have done better. And Don McNaughton, I'm mentioning you, brother.
Please, I love it.
So he had breakfast with Santa. He'd had his event. He had breakfast and he had Santa, pictures with Santa, and he was looking for a third thing to add. And it was like, get a freaking reindeer.
Oh, God,
so you can actually rent a reindeer for a day. And you want your kids to believe in, I mean, I believe in Santa. I believe in Christmas. Yeah. But it's like, you want them to believe, have them pet a freaking reindeer named Dancer or Prancer, or like, it can't be Rudolph because their nose isn't red. And you don't want to put, you don't mess with the reindeer, but it's like they're petting a reindeer. They're sold till they're at least 14. So, so I love it. All right. And so you went away from the movie aspect with your photos with Santa, but I'm guessing that your photos with Santa was a little bit more targeted on the family and friends you really knew, right? Absolutely. Or that's the people who attended. It was less stranger driven or less word of mouth driven.
Yep.
And more like a closer knit group. Right?
Yeah, and we did it early, right? So, because obviously I have realtors that I help with their Santa events, and they do theirs in December. So I actually did mine. I do mine every year now, 2 days after Thanksgiving, that weekend.
So Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah,
that's Saturday.
Yeah,
Santa hasn't been around a lot of places yet, so he's he's doing great.
Be first to the marketplace, right? Right, even with your events. And I have to tell you, that's another lesson. Man, we're on a freaking roll. I'm telling you, I'm on fire. Bring on 23, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
But the other lesson is, people, you need to do this before your biggest competitor does it in your marketplace.
Right.
Be the first to your marketplace. And some of you want to farm neighborhoods. Realtors, are you listening to me? Mortgage professionals, are you listening to me? You want to farm, let's call it West Hampton for a neighborhood. Well, let me tell you something. If somebody else does events in West Hampton before you're doing events, you lose. You're just a copycat. Mm-hmm. You got to be the first to do events. And if you're going to do events in West Hampton, as an example, does it have a clubhouse? Does it have a park? Does it have a pool? Well, you need events at the clubhouse, the park, and the pool. You will own it. It's like Risk, the board game, right? And those are countries inside the country. You want to own the country? You've got to strategically, you're going to have a picnic in the park. You're going to have a pool party, June 21st on National Ice Cream Day. Ice cream, pool, you win. And then you're going to have something at the clubhouse, and you could do, you could do breakfast with Santa. You could do photos with Santa. I mean, it's an indoor event. You could do,
Pie Day. Pie Day.
You could do Pie Day, and you could even do it on March 14th and have it be pizza pies, right? Go. 314, 3.14, 15965. So I think the big thing here is that, the big thing here is just implement, right? You're a master implementer, and you got so many votes for the Big Light Award. Paulie Dominich won the Big Light Award this year. Just absolutely dominated his market in Destin, Fort Walton Beach, and expanded, did awesome. And Angela Gribbins won the Big Heart Award. But here's Scott, right? You're just crushing it, and you can get 800 referrals and not win the Big Light Award. That's how far our community has come. But the other thing too is that RMS. This is an idea everybody here needs to hear is, so we're at RMS and we actually have 4 breakouts every single hour on the hour. So people have a chance to see 32 breakouts or go to, but they can only go to 8. So we have all the speakers from each of the group come up and describe what they're going to cover during their breakout. And people are taking notes and like, right. Ooh, I'm going to go to that one. I'm going to go to that one. Guess what Scott Edwards does, right? So it's competitive. Let me tell you something. All 4 of these are like full, like it's competitive. Scott Edwards gets up on stage and goes, and one person from the audience will win a big screen TV in my breakout. And it was like, what? Everybody was like, that is the most. So guess whose breakout was full? Like had people there and lined up out the door. I thought it was just brilliant that you took the event mastery lessons and what you learned through the year and used it as a strategic difference in somewhere outside your market. You've been using it as a strategic differentiator in your market. And then all of a sudden you used it RMS and it was so beautiful. I wanted to hug you right there on stage, but I had to be like, it was so hard on stage.
I know.
Because I had to be like, wow, that sounds like a great one. wow, that sounds like all of them. I said, wow, that sounds like a great one, just like that, because I didn't want any bias,
Right.
So it was just I love that you're a master implementer and just a great 22. I'm so excited about your 2023 and working with you again. And any final words of wisdom for someone who is like, I want to be the most preferred professional in my community?
It's to do it. I mean, I don't care if it's small or big. I mean, these are big things. I get that, right? And I think that was one of the things that came up in our room was, wow, this sounds so big. And yes, these are big events, right? And I'm positioned to do smaller events this year. But it's just to do events, do it. I mean, they don't have to be this big. I mean, I love you latte. I mean, there's so many great ideas that I learned at RMS that I'm like, okay, I want to figure out what I want to do here. I want to do this, but just do it. I can't encourage you guys and everybody who's listening enough just to get up and do an event, commit to it. Even if you have 2 or 3 people show up or nobody show up, it's the invite. That's what's important about these events, inviting.
The power of the invitation. That is so critical. How many total referrals did you generate last year?
Yeah. So to speak to the Santa event real quick, we generated 171 from that event.
And that was a smaller event. That's fantastic.
That's correct. Yep. And so total was 815 last year.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
It was comforting, right? I think is what it was. I said at the beginning of this I didn't actually know all the exact numbers. And when I actually put down and put all the numbers in place, it felt good. It felt great. It was like, I knew that 2023 was going to be incredible because I had this, right? Mm-hmm. I had something I could do and implement that was going to generate referrals, not just for me, but for the people in my community and people I love to work with. And I love the whole thing. And so that was, for me, it was comforting. It's really what it was.
Comforting. What a great, you have peace of mind about where your next piece of business is coming from.
Yep.
Right. That's an awesome feeling. And that's the referral world. That's the RMS world. But that's not all, right? I mean, it's one of those where, how much weight did you lose in?
Oh, yes. On a personal note, right? So last year was kind of an insane year for a few things. Obviously we had the referral.
No. I'm your coach.
Okay.
It was not an insane year. It was a catalytic year.
Yes.
It was an incredibly productive year. It was me becoming more of me.
Agreed.
Year, right?
Agreed.
Right. Not insane. We don't want this much progress to sound crazy. It is going to sound crazy to some people who are listening, but it wasn't. It was great habits implemented daily. That's what you did. Right.
Exactly. And it was, so I lost 50 pounds. My wife and I became foster parents to 2. Then we added a 3rd. So we have 3 kids, 17.
So we added 3 kids last year.
Yep.
Beat that, people. Beat that. I'm telling you. And lost 50 pounds.
Yep.
So,
incredible year. And, I think one of the things that I'm excited about, if you don't mind me saying, is that we've got Sweet Dreams coming up.
That's right.
And I love Miracle Mornings, but to be frank, Sweet Dreams is where I totally got connected to Miracle Mornings, because I know if I don't get to bed at a specific time with a specific routine, my morning isn't going to be great. So that to me is, I'm excited to be a part of that, because I love Sweet Dreams. So anyway.
I love teaching it. I teach it live. It's 30evenings.com for those of you that are listening. Go check out Sweet Dreams. And it's kind of a double nightly ritual. It's a Sunday night ritual, Sunday evening ritual that I love. We implement it every single week as a family. Love it. We created a science around. My son implements it. He's 14 years old. He's already got great habits. And then we have the nightly ritual, which is dreams. And I actually teach it at night. So we teach it at 8 p.m. Eastern, which I know on the West Coast is 5, and it's not quite night. But at the very least, you can listen in and then implement it that night. I will tell you that, I mean, this was the Sunday night ritual is the most influential in my life. The nightly ritual is 2nd, the morning ritual is 3rd, and the go home is 4th. Right. So it only makes sense that, somebody called me the master of evenings, and the master of evening rituals. And it's I'm not sure of that, but that is the hat that I kind of that I kind of hang and run with, because it seems like my true north is doing the Sunday night ritual, laying out my outfits. I knew I was going to wear this shirt today for this interview, right? And I know what I'm working out in later today. I don't have to think about it. I'm going to go put it on. If you have to think about things for a workout, a lot of times you won't do them. If you have to think about what you're going to wear to work, then it's one more decision you got to make, and decision fatigue kicks in. I'm really excited about Sweet Dreams. I've done a ton more research on different things about sleep, and Benjamin Franklin was a huge go to sleep at the same time every night, wake up at the same time, very huge on rituals. Timothy Ferriss has got some good stuff on it. Oprah has some good stuff on it. So it's just one of those where it's interesting that you would say that, right? Because we get so referral focused and event mastery focused that sometimes we lose the other two pillars of referral mastery, which is self mastery and relationship mastery. And 30 Evenings and Sweet Dreams definitely fits under that self mastery arm. And it's going to be interesting to see how it all fuses together for you this year. And you're also implementing board of ambassadors, board of advisors, which are small events with big results. And we'll have you on in the future to talk about your experience with that if you'd like.
Absolutely. I'd love to. I'm excited. Mine's around the corner, January 26th. So excited to do it.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm telling you right out of the gate of we're on fire here. Hopefully you're on fire for this year as well. Thank you so much for listening to Referrals Podcast. If you would like more information from Scott, he is Scott at mortgagedoc.us. Is that right? I want to make sure it's
just mortgagedoc.us.
That's right. Check him out at mortgagedoc.us. And he is the most referred lender in America, in the world. And you heard it here. And I hope that you learned from him when he said, just do it, right? Be an implementer this year. Just do it. Take action, small steps, 1 degree tweaks, and you can do it too. We'll see you next time on Referrals Podcast. Thanks for listening. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for rating. Thanks for reviewing. And also thanks for subscribing on YouTube at Get Referrals. I love you. I appreciate you. Let's make it happen. See ya.